Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. I hope you are physically and mentally fit and fine, doing good. Guys, we have seen beautiful 3 lectures. We have seen background of ethics, code of ethics, wonderful 5 fundamental principles, uh, which are very important for chartered accountants to follow. Then we have seen uh, threats, 5 types of threats, examples of those threats. Each example can come as a case study. Remember that. So we have seen examples, if chartered accountant in practice, then examples of threats, chartered accountant in service, examples of threats. Now, after having look at that, then we moved from there and we saw that, okay, we need to evaluate this threat. How big is this threat? And there is one test, reasonably informed third party test. That's a very important test with the help of which we will be able to understand whether this threat is acceptable or not. If it is not acceptable, either eliminate it or apply safeguards to reduce that threat to acceptable level. And if that is not possible, then you don't have any option left. You'll have to decline that assignment. Okay, so we have seen this, and I have given you audios of 2 lectures, and I know that audio of third lecture is pending. Don't worry, today I will be giving you that. Yesterday, uh, uh, because of the festive season, I was not able to record the audio, but today you will be getting that. Now, guys, come on, get up, cheer up, keep marking, keep scribbling, and we are going to the next part. We are going to wonderful next part, and that is safeguards. How to reduce the threat levels. Suppose there is a situation of self-interest threat. Auditor or his team has invested in shares and debenture. There's a self-interest threat. There's a business relationship, self-interest threat. Suppose close relative are sitting as directors, officers, as accounts head, familiarity threat. Now, in this particular situation, when there are threats around, there are different types of relationship, financial relationship, business relationship, personal relationship. There is a familiarity. There is an advocacy threat. There is a self-review threat. What to do in these circumstances to reduce threat levels? That's very interesting. What we can do. So, we got the shortcut. Yes, guys. See, guys, everywhere across the notes, you will find that you won't find any single bulky paragraph. You will find that each and every point is hardly 2 to 3 lines. It becomes very, very easy, very, very simple to read notes, to study notes, and to remember them. And then I'll be always giving you some way to remember it. Either it will be some flow, either it will be a mnemonic, either it will be a chart, either it will be a story. Okay. And most importantly, I am giving you audios. So if you make use of them, it will be comparatively very easy to remember and retain audit subject. Now let's see safeguards. Okay. Now, trap karo threats. Trap is the shortcut. Okay, karo is a Hindi word. It simply means trap threats. You can simply feel trap threats. Okay. Now, T is for teams. T is for teams. R is for resourcing. R is again for review. A is for another firm. P is for partner. Let's see, trap. Separate teams. So if you feel that uh, there is a lot of confidential info. If you feel in an assignment, so you went for audit and you come to know that there is a big research and development program going on in the company, and that's a very secret and very important crucial program. A lot of sensitive information is there, a lot of confidential information is there. Team members may think about using this confidential information to get personal gain. So in the process of self interest, they may compromise with the fundamental principles. They may compromise with the fundamental principle of confidentiality. So to reduce the threat level, so if there's a sensitive information, confidential information, to reduce the threat level, what you can do, you can have separate team. So for sensitive information, you have a small team of 1 to 2 or 3 persons that they are doing audit of the sensitive information. They're senior people, they're very reliable, they're experienced, they're ethical, we know them since long. So have a separate team for sensitive and confidential area, and have a separate team for other areas. By doing this, you automatically preserve a lot of sensitive information, and you protect the principle of confidentiality. That's lovely, that's wonderful to have separate team. Okay, separating teams when dealing with confidential matters to address self-interest threat. Then next is resourcing. See, if we think that yes, there is a possibility, there is a pressure that compromise can happen with the fundamental principle, let's be more alert. Let's put more efforts, let's put more resources in a particular area. Suppose eight of the team members were required, let's put 10. Let's do work more carefully, let's spend more time, let's ensure that we are not compromising with the fundamental principles in any manner. Assigning additional time and qualified personnel to tasks when engagement accepted to address self-interest rate. So it's wonderful that you do what? You have more people and more time to do the work. If you do that, assigning more time and more people to do work. See, that's again very good. You know that there is chances that things may go wrong. There are chances that things may go wrong. Then moment you put more number of people, you give more time, automatically people are putting more efforts, they are more careful, and there are more careful, chances of compromising with the fundamental process, it get reduces. And that's what safeguards do. Safeguard reduces the threat level. So resourcing more people and more time reduces the threat level. T for team, separate teams. R for resourcing. Then one more R, review. If you feel that principles may get compromised, increase the review, increase number of reviews. Okay, you can have 2 reviews in a week. Earlier you used to have reviews on Saturday. Saturday you used to check work of the whole week. But now you can have multiple reviews. You can have 2 reviews in a week, 3 reviews in a week. That's an extreme. Maybe at the end of the assignment or crucial matters, you can have more number of reviews. So have more number of reviews, and you can have a good reviewer. You can have a very experienced, knowledgeable, and most importantly, a smart reviewer. Okay, having another firm, having an appropriate reviewer not part of the team, you have appropriate reviewer, have a high quality reviewer, very experienced, very knowledgeable, experienced, reputable. who is not part of the team. Bring reviewer from uh, outside the team. He can be member of the firm, he may not be member of the firm. Review the work or provide advice, not part of the team, to review the work or provide advice. He can give advisory also to address the self-review threat. You know that you are reviewing your own work. And when you are reviewing your own work, there is chances that you compromise with the fundamental principles. You will keep on saying everything is good, everything is fine, unmodified opinion, unmodified opinion, unmodified opinion, because ultimately you're checking your own work directly or indirectly. 3 years back, you only established the complete internal control system, and now you are only doing the audit. Okay. So there is a self-review threat. So if there is self-review threat, do one thing, have a very good quality reviewer, and you can do one more thing. This reviewer should not be part of the team. That means he should be coming outside the team. If he's coming outside the team, then he will not get influenced by the team. He will not get influenced by the team. So have a good reviewer, bring him from outside the team. He will not get influenced, increase the frequency of the review, and then again chances of compromising with the fundamental principles will reduce. It will again reduce threat to acceptable level. Okay. Then next is another firm. Yeah, that's really interesting. If you feel that a lot of our members are directly indirectly connected to people in the company, in the client where we are doing audit, do one thing: appoint another firm for sensitive areas, important areas. Instead of deploying our own team, you can outsource the work to another firm. So if another firm is doing it, automatically that familiarity threat will get compensated. Okay. You don't need to remember which thing is for which threat. It will come by common sense. Okay. Don't need to mug up that. That is not required. See guys, don't try to mug up everything. That's not a good idea. Don't try to mug up everything. That is not a good idea, guys. Okay. Now, because just remember the key points and express in own words. Another firm. Involving another firm to perform or re-perform. To perform or re-perform part of the engagement to address it. This is a wonderful thing to bring someone else. It can compensate self-interest threat because someone else is doing it, self-review threat because someone else is doing it, advocacy threat because someone else is doing advocacy threat. It can happen that your one department is helping the company in getting shares listed, and your another department is doing audit. This can happen. So in a big four there are different departments, different entities. Like PricewaterhouseCoopers Limited is a consulting arm. They are helping to get the shares listed, and the audit firm is doing audit. So there's a conflict of interest. Now when you are promoting in one particular assignment, you are doing a lot of you are praising company, they are highlighting good points, you are promoting them. And in the other assignment, you are checking and you are finding what are the material misstatements. You want to find out all the mistakes, all the misstatements. You want to report the misstatements. So do one thing: give this audit work to another firm on assignment basis. Automatically you nullify the advocacy threat, familiarity threat. Okay. So intimidation threat, you are intimidating us, but audit is done by someone else. So this is a master stroke. Appointing another firm is a master stroke, but definitely it is going to come with cost. Definitely it is going to come with cost. Cost is going to matter, but then in some situation you have to take the steps to reduce threat to acceptable level. Then partners of non-assurance services. Partners, do one thing. So like I was discussing, Many times you firm get multiple work from the company, from the client. They may get the statutory audits, tax audits, so they may get audits basically. They may get tax consultancy work also. They may get tax planning also. They may get legal planning also. Do one thing. In your firm, have different verticals. So audit is one vertical with different partners, and tax consultancy is a different vertical with different partners. So when you are giving non-assurance services, non-audit services, okay, see, there's a conflict of interest. In one assignment, again, you have to find out the misstatements, and in the other assignments, you have to promote and protect the company. So there's a conflict of interest. Do one thing, use different partners. That's what generally done in all the big firms and all the big fours. So for assurance assignment, use different partners and their teams. For non-assurance services, like tax advisory, legal advisory, have different team. Okay, have different partner and team. So using different partner and team again reduces the situation of conflict of interest and reduces the chances of compromising with the fundamental principles. So these are beautiful safeguards, wonderfully well thought. These are small things which can reduce the threat levels. Using different partners and teams, with separate reporting lines for non-assurance services to an assurance plan to address self-review, advocacy, or family threat. It's a very important question. Very, very important question. I expect this question to come in exams. So it's going to come in upcoming exams. Only attempt is not fixed. For sure, I will give it to you in writing on stamp paper. Yes. And if it doesn't come, I will refund the fees. Huh? Proportionately. So fees divided by total number of concept taught into the concept which didn't come in exam, I will refund that fees. Sir, see, I am a chartered accountant. I am not going to screw myself. Okay. And so anyways, that is extremely important. And then I also said that in which attempt it is going to come. Okay, so only that is not clear. It may come in immediate next attempt, or maybe after 1 or 2 attempts, but it will come. Safeguards. And it's interesting too how the threats are reduced, how the risk level are reduced. It's beautiful to learn these things, to understand these things. Someone must have thought a lot, then applied it, then checked it, and when it was successful, then it was framed in code of ethics. Now guys, we are through with this. So we are through with the fundamental principles, their threats, their examples, and how to deal with these threats, how to safeguard them and bring it to the acceptable level. Now we are starting with very interesting. Noclar. This terminology is getting very famous. Noclar. See, what is this? It's very simple, guys. So whenever non-compliance happens in front of a chartered accountant, non-compliance happens, what is he supposed to do? There was no clarity. what are the responsibilities of the chartered accountant when he when he comes across when he comes across non compliance during his practice or during his job service. What should be done? Are we supposed to what are we supposed to do when you come across non compliance? Correct. Are we supposed to go and thrash those people, those who are doing non compliance? Are we supposed to take them to police? Are we supposed to go and report authorities and government about the non compliance? Are we supposed to ourselves rectify the situation and start compliance on behalf of the company? Are we supposed to do that? So basically there was lack of clarity what chartered accountants are supposed to do. And then there was a lot of criticism by stakeholders, government, authorities, that chartered accountants, they know a lot of non-compliances of law happening in the company, but still chartered accountants are not doing anything. So there was lack of clarity, there was criticism. So keeping all these things in mind, this concept was developed, NOCLAR, that is non-compliance with law and regulation. NO, that is non-compliance with law and regulation. So if chartered accountant, CA, chartered accountant in practice or chartered accountant in service, they come across this situation where laws are non-complied, what should be done is explained in this part of NOCLAR, and NOCLAR is officially part of Code of Ethics. But let me tell you guys, we are not having NOCLAR in detail. So they're explaining some principles which are connected to NOCLAR. What should be done exactly when there's a non-compliance? It is not covered in detail in our course. So overview is given. See, it is not possible to include everything in the course. So at many places, they simply make you aware that such things exist and what is the purpose of these things, and then how to apply these things, how to apply this thing to various situations. They simply explain that. So they simply explain that, give an overview. So tomorrow when you go to practice, you know that there is something called NOCLAR, and if you come across the situation, you'll open Code of Ethics, you'll go to that particular portion, read it, and act accordingly. Okay. So what is the first thing is, what is definition of non-compliance? It's very simple. What definition of non-compliance? When non-compliance means any act, if if a person is doing something which is not as per law, rules and regulation, or he is not doing something which was required as per law, rules and regulation. He is not taking permission, license to do business. That's a non-compliance. He is not maintaining registers. That's a non-compliance. He is not paying fees. That's a non-compliance. He is not reporting. That's a non-compliance. Okay. He was supposed to pay minimum wages. He's not paying minimum wages. That's a non-compliance. So it's very simple. Refers to actions or inactions. It can be intentional or unintentional. That's important. Non-compliance can be intentional, non-intentional. That is contravention of the current law, rules and regulation. So non-compliance means some actions or inactions which are against the existing law, rules and regulation. It can be intentional or unintentional. So this NOCLAR is simply going to explain what are the responsibilities of chartered accountants who are in practice, and what are the responsibilities of chartered accountants who are in service. Professional accountants may encounter non-compliance with law and regulation while providing services to client or carrying out activities for an employer. These incidents can be actual or suspected. Actual or suspected, comma, then you write after that there or full stop. It explains so it explains what are the responsibility in such circumstances. What are the responsibilities in such circumstances? Okay. Now this is extremely important. These two things can come in cases in MCQs. So, chartered accountants are supposed to respond to non-compliance as per principles given in NOCLAR. But the very important question is non-compliance by whom? Non-compliance by whom? So, for example, suppose we come to know that supplier of the company is doing illegal activities. Are we supposed to apply NOCLAR? Then employees of the company are employees of the company, they are doing non-compliance. Are we supposed to apply NOCLAR? Customers are doing illegal activity. Are we supposed to apply NOCLAR? Directors are doing something illegal. Are we supposed to apply NOCLAR? So we are doing audit of a company. We are doing audit of company and these guys are doing illegal activities. Or similarly, we are doing job in a company. We are doing job in a company and again these guys which we just spoke about, whether it is supplier or employees or customers or directors, managers, they are non-compliant, they are doing illegal activities, there is a non-compliance. Are we supposed to apply NOCLAR? Very interesting. If I would have been the examiner, I would have definitely drafted a MCQ here. So let's understand, guys. So if you are a chartered accountant in practice and you're doing audit, if you are a chartered accountant in practice and you are doing audit, you are doing audit of a company, of a client, then non-compliance, illegal activities by the company, number one, the client whom you are doing audit, or their TCWG, those charged with governance, or their management, or their employees. If non-compliance is done by the client or TCWG of the client or management of the client or employee of the client, see if any four of them are doing non-compliance, we have to apply NOCLAR. Or if a chartered accountant is doing job, then the employer That can be a company, that can be a partnership firm, that can be any entity. Employer. Then TCWG, those charged with governance of the employer or management of the employer or any employee of the employer. So four type of persons are covered for chartered accountant in practice, and four types of persons are covered for chartered accountants in job. I hope it is crystal clear in your mind. Now, one more thing, if you have any doubt, if you have any kind of doubt, what is TCWG and what is management? Listen, it's very simple, guys. So, in any entity, group of people who perform group of people who perform day-to-day operations of the company. So they are in the company from morning 9 to evening 9, just an example, and they are managing all the operations, whether it is purchases on day-to-day basis, the purchases or production or sale, dispatches, recovery, accounting, they are called as management. Then group of people who come periodically, say on monthly basis, monthly basis or quarterly basis, they are coming and they are supervising how business is going on, what are good things, what are bad things, and then they sit and they take strategic decisions, whether to go into new businesses, where to close businesses, how to expand business. So they take strategic decisions, they make policies how business should be conducted, uh, should we import, should we use local vendors, and so on. So they take strategic decisions. So they come for oversight, supervision, they take strategic decisions, they make policies, and then they give it to the management that you implement it. So they will be called as TCWG, those charged with governance, those who are given responsibility, those who are given responsibility to govern the company, to direct the company. It will be called as TCWG, those charged with governance. So four type of persons are covered if you are doing practice. Four type of persons are covered if you are into job. Okay, so if supplier does something illegal, you are not supposed to apply no clerk. If customer do something illegal, you are not supposed to apply no clerk. How interesting. A case study may come here, so be careful about it. Then next is suppose you see that managing director of the company is has done drink and drive. So Saturday night, full tight. Bad, very bad. Okay. We are into CA students. CA students is all about studies. A CA student is all about studies. They don't get time. They don't get time to think about any such thing. So doing it's a distant thing. Doing is a distant thing altogether. Okay. So managing director has been caught for drink and drive, and he has been jailed. So is that a non-compliance of law? Yeah, of course, that's a non-compliance of law. And we came to know about this. Are we supposed to? Okay. Are we supposed to apply no clerk? Answer is no. Personal misconducts. So if these four persons, when we talk about practice, four persons when we talk about service, if these guys they do illegal activities, unlawful activities in their personal lives, in their personal lives, not in their not when they are working in the company, when they are working in the company, not when they are performing their professional work. Okay, then chartered accountant is not supposed to apply NOCLAR. So if the perpetrators, people who are doing illegal activities, are outside these 8, no need to apply NOCLAR. And if there is a personal misconduct, again no need to apply NOCLAR. So this can come in exams, guys. Non-compliance can be committed by client, accountants employing organization, or TCWG, management employee of client or employing organization. So basically if there is a CA in practice or there is CA in service, so a CA in practice, if non-compliance is by client can be a company, can be a partnership firm, can be individual, or TCWG of the client, or management of the client, or employee of the client. If these guys do if these guys if these guys do illegal activity, if these guys do illegal activities, non-compliance, then NOCLAR will be applicable. When we talk about CA in service, again, employer or TCWG of the employer or management of the employer or employee of the employer, if these guys do something illegal, again NOCLAR will be again we need to apply NOCLAR. The revised code of ethics does not address personal misconduct unrelated to the business activities nor non-compliance of parties not specifically mentioned in the non-compliance definition. Unrelated to the business activities. So if they are doing something in their personal life which has nothing to do with the business activities, professional activities, NOCLAR is not applicable. Or non-compliance by parties not specifically mentioned. That's what we said. That's what we said. Suppliers doing something, not covered. Employees, customers doing something, not covered. We won't be applying NOCLAR. So guys, it's very simple. So they're explaining what do you mean by non-compliance. When you don't follow, when your actions are against or you're not doing something which is required, that's non-compliance. And it simply gives the responsibility what to do. Only 8 types of perpetrators are covered and personal misconduct is not covered. Now, as per International Ethical Standard Board, okay, as per International Ethical Standard Board for accountants, examples, what kind of laws are generally what kind of laws are generally applicable to companies, their TCWG, director and employees, where non-compliance happens. So simply give examples. Of nature of laws where chartered accountant is going to find non-compliances. Nature of laws where he is going to find non-compliances, so that he can have an overview. He can have overview of such kind of laws applicable to the company. So we have made a mnemonic. SBI is under FM department. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. SBI is under Finance Ministry, FM department. FM department. So let's see. S. So this is the exact. These are the kind of laws where you are going to see non-compliance. So the chartered accountant. So chartered accountant who are in practice. Chartered accountant who are in practice, or chartered accountant who are doing job. These are the laws. During your course of professional work, you may come across non-compliance in these kind of laws. Okay. S stand for securities market and trading. So laws which are applicable to securities markets and trading. So SEBI Act, SEBI regulations. In these laws, you may find non-compliance. Then B stand for banking. So banking and other financial products and services. So when you're doing bank audit, there can be non-compliance of Banking Regulation Act, then RBI circulars, then SBI FM, fraud, corruption, bribery. Yeah, there can be non-compliance of PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, PMLA Act, okay, Anti-Corruption Act. Then money laundering. Money laundering is simply converting your black money into white money. Money laundering, terrorist financing, proceeds of crime. So again, you may come across such kind of non-compliance also. Then department, DEPT, data protection. So recently India has a new law, and if there's a leak of data, up to what penalty, up to 100 crores, or maybe more can be applied. So you may come across breach of data protection laws, environmental protection laws, public health and safety laws, tax and pension liabilities and payments. So chartered accountants may come across non-compliance in different types of laws. These are the examples. These are some of the examples where he may come across non-compliance. So S is for securities market and trading. B is for banking and other financial products. FM. Then F is for frauds, corruption, bribery. M is for money laundering, terrorist financing. Department. D is for data protection. E is for environmental protection. P is for public health and safety. T is for tax and pension liability and payments. So in these areas, in these laws, non-compliances may happen. So you may be asked a very simple question. Please give an overview in which laws non-compliance may happen. Okay, which laws? So these are the examples, kind of the laws where non-compliance can happen. So have an overview of these laws which are applicable to your client or applicable to your employer. Okay. What is the objective? What is the ultimate target? Here, objective means target. Why NOCLAR was created? Why NOCLAR was created? So it's again very simple. So many times what used to happen, because of lack of clarity, because of lack of clarity, whenever chartered accountant used to come across non-compliance, they used to get freezed. Okay, they used to get freezed. They were not aware what to do in these circumstances. What to do in these circumstances? So to educate them, to guide them, to clarify, we have NOCLAR. Very simple. Okay, like this happens with a lot of boys, or this may happen with girls also. A lot of boys that in teenage or maybe your age also, you get freezed when girl comes and talk to you. When girl comes and talk to you, get freeze. You don't know how to respond, what to say. Okay, and you may become very cautious. You may become very cautious or conscious in your approach. Okay, so see, this used to happen. This happened with me. I was in a boarding school. I was in a boarding school for 8th, 9th and 10th. 8th, 9th, and 10th, I was in boarding school. And so I was in a I was in a division, and it was all boys division. So there was only one division where there were girls also. So all boys division. So generally we were never supposed to interact with the girls. Okay. So automatically there was natural awkwardness. During exam time it happened. Exam time it happened that most beautiful senior of ours and the whole school, okay, is appreciating her beauty, her appearance. Now she is sitting next to me. She is sitting next to me for writing exams. For writing exams, now I became very conscious. I thought she is observing me, okay, what I'm doing. So I was uncomfortable, little awkward, and I was not writing my paper properly. And my class teacher, she knew that I'm always in top 1 2, and I'm not writing paper properly. So she waited for one paper to get over, then second paper to get over, and she saw in both the papers I'm not comfortable. So she called me. The Ravi, you know one thing? Yes, madam. Half of the world, half of the world is girls and women. If you're not comfortable with them, then you are going to face a lot of challenges across your life. So it is better that you relax, that you become comfortable when you deal with the girls. And that day I realized, yeah, that's true. Half of the world is girls. And I cannot I cannot be someone who feels awkward or conscious when there are girls around or they are talking to us. And maybe from that my approach changed, and I said simply one thing to myself. uh, Maybe just like I behave, just like I talk to uh, just like I talk to my other friends, I will talk to any other girl maybe. And let's not let's not keep it very different. That is the approach I should follow. And then I became comfortable overall. So on same lines, this is the objective of nuclear. Don't get freezed. Don't get freezed. Okay. So you will always remember what is the objective of nuclear. Don't get freeze. The nuclear framework ensures the professional accountants cannot. Again, guys, don't get worried about so many points and theory. I am giving you lovely, beautiful audios. Listen to them on regular basis, and you will be all comfortable, very comfortable. Within 15 to 20 hours, we are going to complete audit in that. Right now, simply sit, understand why this concept is there, how it will be applied, what kind of question or what kind of MCQ I will get on this, and move next. Don't. Many times students, you know, two types of students can never study. Two types of students can never study. Number one, students who keep on they are always worried. Students are always worried. 1 year before the exam they will ask, sir, I will be able to cover my course? What? This is 1 year. You have a lot of time. Start studying. Don't worry. The same guys will again come. Same guys will again come. Sir, will I be able to study? 9 months to go. 6 months to go. 3 months to go. They will keep on worrying. So these students who are always very anxious, always very anxious, always very worried, okay, these guys, they won't be able to study. And second category is the careless category. They are not aware what is in the course. So don't be in either of them. Don't be in either of them. Don't be always worried and don't be extremely careless. You should be somewhere in between. Enjoy the concept, love the concept, do the marking. Next, don't worry about the revision, leave it to me. Okay. So, the nuclear framework ensures that framework professional accountant cannot ignore suspected or actual non-compliance. So, whenever suspected or actual compliance come up, you should not ignore, you should not get freeze. You are supposed to respond. You are supposed to respond in a particular manner, in a particular fashion, following particular principles. The NOCLAR framework enhances the awareness and understanding of professional accountants regarding their obligation when encountering with the so that people are not freeze, they don't ignore, and they perform their responsibilities properly, making them aware about their responsibilities. That is a simple object. That is the simple objective of NOCLAR. But one thing in mind: if someone thinks that if someone thinks that NOCLAR has come up, so now TCWG and management, they are relieved. Yay, NOCLAR has come up. Now chartered accountants are supposed to look after the non-compliances. They are supposed to prevent non-compliances. They are supposed to take corrective action in non-compliances. No, 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 no. It is your company. It is your company. Listen, client. It is your company. You are responsible to run the business. You are responsible to run the show. Okay. So you are responsible to prevent non-compliance and ensure compliance. It is your ultimate responsibility. You are supposed to do that. Okay. That is not going to reduce your responsibility in any manner. NOCLAR is going to tell us that we are not supposed to ignore these circumstances when we are supposed to respond in this particular fashion. So, in no manner, no reduction in roles and responsibilities of TCWG and management when it comes to compliance of law. It is their responsibility to prevent non-compliance, detect and correct non-compliance. It is their primary responsibility. Of course, it has to be their primary responsibility. Is your company. Your company, you know everything about it. You have the powers. You are the stakeholders. You are the beneficiaries. You will take care of it. We won't. It is not our responsibility. Come on. That is not our responsibility, isn't it? Now, again, very interesting. Some important clarifications with respect to NOCLAR. So, first thing, now this can come important facts about NOCLAR. So we have studied one thing. See, it is a theory portion. This is how theory is different. This is how theory is different from practical. Okay, in practical, in FR, in SFM, in costing, what happens? You read each and every line very carefully. In fact, in law also, law-based things also, you read each and every line very carefully. Even if one rate changes, everything changes. Okay, whole problem has changed, the whole approach has changed and whatnot. But in theory, The person who wrote theory, okay, he didn't think so much. He wanted to express his experience. He wanted to express his experience, codify his experience, codify his principles. So it may happen that one thing may again repeat. See, in law, committees sit, they refine it n number of times, and then they make law. And then they make law. Okay. And so in law, that things happen. So generally there are no repetitions. So don't worry about the repetition. So important facts. Chartered accountants are not responsible for compliance of law, rules and regulation. They are not responsible to prevent non-compliances or detect, investigate and correct non-compliances. Compliance is not our responsibility. To prevent, detect, correct non-compliance is not our responsibility. So let's be clear about it. NOCLAR has come. That doesn't mean the responsibility of TCWG and management has reduced anywhere. It has reduced anywhere. It is still their responsibility to comply with the law and to prevent, detect, correct non-compliances. So not responsible for compliance or prevent, detect, investigate and correct non-compliances. It applies if a chartered accountant, see, I use the word chartered accountant instead of professional accountant, and to be very honest, you can also use the word. Okay. So if while performing a profession, when you are in practice or we are in job, if you come across suspected or actual non-compliance, what you are supposed to do, it is for that. Are we supposed to have extreme expertise? No extreme expertise. We are supposed to have limited expertise of law, rules and regulation, which is generally required to conduct our assignment, like audit assignment, as per law, rules, regulations and professional standard, that is standards on auditing. Chartered accountants are not supposed to have extreme high level of knowledge of all the laws, rules and regulations. We are supposed to have limited knowledge of law, rules and regulation, that level of knowledge, that kind of knowledge which is generally required to perform our audits, to perform our reviews, to perform our assurance assignments, to perform the work which we generally do. So if NOCLAR is applicable, that means we have to enhance our knowledge level with respect to law is incorrect. So you can get MCQ on this. You can get MCQ on this, that because NOCLAR is applicable, so we should have high level of knowledge of law. It is absolutely crap. Come on, it's not like that. Okay. Now, exclusions, that simply means non-applicability. That simply means non-applicability. Okay. It is non-applicable, clearly inconsequential, or related to personal misconduct. Now one more thing, if suppose there's a non-compliance by the company which you are auditing or company in which you are working, and it is highly inconsequential. So inconsequential means it is amount wise, importance wise extremely small, or inconsequential simply means immaterial. Inconsequential means extremely small. That means it is not having any consequences. It doesn't matter. So if non-compliance is inconsequential, we are not supposed to apply nuclear there. If there's a personal misconduct, again we are not supposed to apply nuclear there. They're repeating the point of personal misconduct. It's absolutely fine. So if nuclear is applicable, does that mean that if non-compliance is happen, we will take a speaker in our hand and we'll announce, listen, 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 listen. Company is doing non-compliance. Company is doing non-compliance. 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 Run away from this company. Don't associate from this company. Don't invest in this company. Are we supposed to do that? Nuclear is applicable. So are we supposed to spread this non-compliance to everyone? Are we supposed to announce it? Are we supposed to go to authorities? No, 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 no. Nuclear is applicable. That doesn't mean that we go and inform about the non-compliance to everyone. No, no. We are supposed to simply follow the principles, and as per that principle, sometimes it may be required. It may be required to go and inform the authorities. But it is not mandatory that you always go and inform the authority about the non-compliances. So please don't misinterpret nuclear. According to International Ethical and Board of Accountants Code, accountants are not required to disclose matters to authority if such disclosures would be contrary to law or regulation. So they are saying that please don't make any disclosures if in the process of disclosure you are going against the law, rules and regulation. So let's be clear once again. So there are four types of no. Nuclear is applicable. That doesn't mean we are responsible for compliance, for prevention, for detection, investigation of non-compliance. That doesn't mean we are supposed to have extreme level of knowledge of law. That is not applicable if it's inconsequential or personal misconduct. That doesn't mean that we go and disclose this thing to all the authorities. Okay, please don't misinterpret nuclear. Don't misinterpret. Don't exaggerate nuclear. That's required, especially chartered accountants sometimes or in practice. See, as you go into practice or as you become chartered accountant, you go away from the academics. You go away from the academics. You don't know what are the many times you don't know what are the latest changes and what things are being said, and such kind of wrong assumptions people may make wrong assumptions. So to avoid those wrong assumptions, it's very important. Okay, now let's see, guys. Just on lighter note, see, people are wrong. Once you become a chartered accountant, so once you become chartered accountant, and now you're into practice or you're into job, and now you feel that you need some companion, you need a life partner. It doesn't mean that you have to do a lot of hi-fi things. A lot of hi-fi things. Okay, that I'm supposed to take her to a very expensive restaurant. I'm supposed to give very expensive gifts. Okay, uh, do something. I'm not supposed to hire a helicopter to put flowers, to put rose petals on her. Okay, so that is not required. If genuinely two people like each other, they like their company and they will be comfortable. Okay, so people have a lot of assumptions how to impress a person or how you are going to get a life partner. So please don't get influenced by movies and by the web series. Okay. In fact many times if couples are watching these movies and web series because of artificial life they are showing there, problems happen with the actual couples. Why don't you do such things with me? Huh? Why don't you plan something like this for for our anniversary, for my birthday? Oh, that is movie, that is web series. It is designed by director. They're spending loads of money. It's their job. We cannot do this. If we do all these things, who will teach? Who will do my work? Okay. Now, applicability of nuclear in India. Applicability of nuclear India, extremely important. Extremely important. 100% you are going to get case from it. 100%. 100% you are going to get case from it. Now, why this? Because it's interesting. It can be drafted into case very easily, and there has been recent amendment also. There's a recent amendment also in this. So there are two sections. So if you remember, uh, I no, we saw code of ethics. We saw code of ethics. So in code of ethics, there were sections. There were sections in code of ethics. Okay. So there are two sections. Section 260 and section 360. Section 260 and section 360. Section 260 talks about applicability of NOCLAR to CAs in service, and 360 talks about applicability of NOCLAR of CAs in practice. So, principles for CAs in service, NOCLAR principles for CA in service, and NOCLAR principles for CA in practice are drafted separately. Yeah, they're drafted separately, and their applicability is also separate. So now, let's first talk about chartered accountants who are in job. Let's talk about chartered accountants who are in job. One more thing before we see this. NOCLAR for chartered account service is further divided into two parts. NOCLAR principles for senior. So there are for senior accountants. So chartered accountants who are seniors in the organization, like directors, officers, or senior employees. Okay, so they are called senior professionals. So NOCLAR responsibilities of senior professionals are little higher as compared to NOCLAR responsibilities for chartered accountants who are not into senior professional, for junior professionals. Once again, see, NOCLAR responsibilities are divided in two parts: NOCLAR principles for CAs in service and NOCLAR principles for CA in practice. So when we talk about NOCLAR principles in service, it is further divided into two parts. So responsibilities for senior accountants and responsibilities for other accountants. That means chartered accountants who are playing an important role and chartered accountants who are playing other roles. NOCLAR and then So if we talk about NOCLAR, as I said, for CA in practice, for CA in service, there are additional there is extra responsibilities for CAs who are senior accountants and other accountants. Okay, now let's talk about applicability. If a chartered accountant is no right now in India, NOCLAR is applicable to those chartered accountant in service who are doing job in listed companies and in a position of senior accountant. So in India right now, if there's a chartered accountant, number one, he is doing job in a listed company and he is playing a role of senior accountant. That means he is acting as a director or acting as an officer or acting as a employee, senior employee, sorry. Senior employee. Senior employee. Then only NOCLAR will get applicable. That means, suppose there is chartered accountant A. Chartered accountant A. He is working in a listed company as a director. Is he supposed to follow NOCLAR? Yes. He is working as a senior employee there. He is advisor to board of director. He is head of accounts. He is supposed to follow NOCLAR? Yes. So there is a chartered accountant B. He has just joined the accounts department, finance department, tax department. He is not yet director or officer or senior employee. That level, he is not that big level. Is NOCLAR applicable to him? No. NOCLAR is not applicable to him. He is not a key management person. NOCLAR is not applicable to him. If a chartered accountant, now see, again I am twisting because this can come as MCQ. If a chartered accountant is working as managing director in an unlisted company, will NOCLAR get applicable? No. So remember these things. It should be a listed company and he should be playing role of a senior chartered accountant. These two things are required. These two things are required. Generally, senior employees who can significantly influence, make decisions, key management, if they are working as a role of key management person, again they are senior chartered accountant. And then NOCLAR for chartered account in practice. If a CA firm is doing audit of a listed company, audit engagement of listed company, if you're doing audit of listed company, that's extremely important. Audit of entities, audit of listed entities in India, listed in India, or have and sorry and have net worth of 250 crores or more. So if you are doing audit of a listed entity which is having a net worth of 250 crores or more, and during the course of this particular assignment, if you come across non-compliance, then a chartered accountant is supposed to apply NOCLAR. So right now, NOCLAR is applicable in context of big entities. In context of big entities, if you're doing job in listed company, and that too you're acting as a senior professional accountant, and if you're doing audit of a listed company, that too a net worth of 250 crores or more. Now this is very interesting. The word uses and. So is it applicable to all the listed entities? No, it is not applicable to all the listed. Only those listed entities having net worth, only those listed entities having net worth of 250 crores or more, having net worth of 250 crores or more. Okay, be careful about this. An audit or audit engagement is a An audit engagement is a reasonable assurance engagement where professional accountant in public practice express an opinion whether financial statement give true and fair account is applicable framework. And it is applicable only when you are doing audits. Okay. So if you are giving if you're doing review, see, review word has two meanings. To do the whole checking in short, that is called review, that is review engagement. We are having a separate chapter on this in new course, review engagement. And 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 if junior has worked and senior comes and checks the work, that is also called as review. So review has two meanings. Here when I talk about review right now, it's a review engagement. So if you are doing review of listed, if you are doing list, if you are doing audit of listed company, if you're doing audit of listed company, okay, then will NOCLAR get applicable? Yes, if net worth is 250 crores or more. But if you're doing review of such company, NOCLAR will not get applicable. Okay, so it's only audit assignments as on today. And then next, people will again confuse a private if you're doing audit of private company having net worth 500 crores or more. Private company having you're doing audit of a private company having net worth 500 crores or more. Whether NOCLAR will get applicable? No. It's a listed company, and then there is a condition, for the net worth also. So be extremely careful about it. Okay. Now, next is interesting to understand. See, many times this happen that on one particular issue, there are two documents talking about it. On one particular issue, there are two documents talking about it. So we need to understand both the documents, how they are similar and how they are different. We need to understand, and we need to comply with both. Just on the lighter note, once you get married, okay, there are two authorities. For boys, I am saying there are two authorities. Okay, so you are supposed to follow. One is mom. You have been following mom since you were this small. Okay, and then this wife, and you You made promises that you will follow. Okay. So for peaceful life, it is very important that both the authorities, okay, they're very comfortable with each other. There should not be a lot of difference of opinion. Otherwise, you are again screwed. Okay, let's see, guys. Applicability. Asset 250, Asset 250 is applicable. Asset 250 is applicable only to audits. Asset 250 is applicable only to audits, whereas NOCLAR applies to professional accountant. So SA 250 is see, okay. Let me first give you background of SA 250. SA 250 is a standard which explains we are going to see this standard in detail, which explain uh, responsibility of auditor with respect to responsibility of the auditor when he is dealing with laws, rules and regulations applicable to the client. So it basically explains what are your responsibilities while doing audit with respect to various laws, rules and regulations which are applicable to client. Are you supposed to examine, evaluate compliance of all the laws or some laws, and how you are supposed to perform your duties? So how you are supposed to check compliance, how you are supposed to check compliance of law, rules and regulation, and what you're supposed to do if there's a non-compliance. These responsibilities are given in 250. So if you're doing audit of financial statement and during the audit you come across a lot of laws and rules and regulation applicable to company, what are your responsibilities, what examination you have to perform, what to do if there's a non-compliance. So these things are given in SA 250. So there's a common thing. NOCLAR also says how to respond to non-compliance, and SA 250 says during the audit if you come across non-compliance, how to respond to it. Okay. So SA 250 is applicable when you are doing audit of financial statements, but NOCLAR is applicable. NOCLAR is applicable. It's much broader in all aspects. NOCLAR is much broader. What to do if you come across non-compliance when you are doing a job? What to do if you come out when you are into practice? So the scope is much broader as compared to SA 250. SA 250 is applicable to a specific situation. You're doing audit of financial statements, you come across non-compliance, what to do in such scenario, keeping audit in mind. And when it comes to NOCLAR, what to do in these two situations, what to do. So it's much bigger scope, larger scope as compared to SA 250. Loss covered. SA 250 says that auditor should evaluate and pay more attention to those laws which are affecting continuity of the business, and which are affecting financial statements and having financial impact. So again, SA 250 has a restricted approach. It is saying to focus on limited number of laws. But on the other hand, NOCLAR doesn't restrict, doesn't limit that only these kind of you have to see only these kind of non-compliance. It is open-ended. It has given list. We have seen the list, but then it is not an exhaustive list. It is not restricting. Whatever different types of laws applicable to entity, and if there is non-compliance in any of those laws, NOCLAR will get applicable. So SA 250 has a very restricted approach, and that is fine because objective is to give opinion on financial statement. And NOCLAR is a broader approach because their objective is to respond properly to non-compliance. Both are, we cannot say that SA 250 is somewhere less, or we cannot devalue 250. It is designed keeping in mind different things, and NOCLAR is designed keeping in mind different things. SA 250 outlines SA 250 outlines SA 250 outlines auditor's responsibility for laws directly affecting and determination of material amounts and disclosure in financial statement. So it is focusing on laws which are having direct material impact on financial statement, tax laws, labor laws, and so on. It also covers law regulation that are not directly affecting financial statement are fundamental to business operations. That's what I said, continuity of business operations. Very important for business. NOCLAR extend beyond this by considering non-compliance that could cause substantial harm with serious financial or non-financial consequences. That could cause substantial harm with serious financial or non-financial consequences. So NOCLAR talks about, okay, it can be any law. It can be any law where non-compliance can have a substantial financial or non-financial impact. It will be covered in NOCLAR. So the scope is quite bigger. Any law having substantial impact, harm, whether it is financial, whether it is non-financial, NOCLAR is applicable. So when you talk about assignments, NOCLAR is broader. When it talks about law, again NOCLAR is broader. Stakeholder, unlike 250, SA 250 doesn't talk about stakeholders. SA 250 is like your objective is to give opinion, and while framing opinion, evaluate these things, keep in mind these things. But NOCLAR defines NOCLAR says that as a professional, you're supposed to see what is going to be the impact of non-compliance on different stakeholders. Impact of non-compliance on a lot of stakeholders, investors, creditors, those who have given money, your lenders, employees, general public. So it comes up with a new concept of stakeholder, that keep in mind impact on everyone. SA 250 doesn't talk about these things. Exceptional circumstances and disclosure. Exceptional circumstances and disclosure. Okay, that's very, very crucial part. SA 250 says that if you come across non-compliance, go and inform this to authorities if it is required by law. So if there is any specific law which says that go and inform in this particular situation, you are supposed to go and inform, then only go and inform. So approach is, it doesn't say that you should go and inform, it says that go and read law. If law says, then you disclose. So it is keeping client and auditor both safe. Be safe. But NOCLAR changes this approach, and that's a big change. NOCLAR changes this approach, and that's a big change. NOCLAR says that if it's a very big imminent breach, very big non-compliance, you should go and report. That's a very big thing. You should go and report this to authorities. You should go and report this to authorities unless go and report this to authorities, okay, unless it is prohibited by law. See, the complete approach is changed. Okay, so let me give you a parallel example. So father says if you get permission from your professor, then you can go to movie. If you get permission, then you can go to movie. That's the approach. Very restricted approach also. If you get permission, do it. Mother says that you can go to movie, no problem, unless your professor has restricted, professor has said no for movie. So SA 250 is very restricted approach towards disclosure. Very restricted approach towards disclosure. And NOCLAR has very open approach towards disclosure. Go and say unless prohibited. NOCLAR stipulates that in exceptional circumstances, if professional accountant may imminent breach, very big breach of law or regulation that could cause substantial harm, very big law is non-complied and it's a huge impact, they should first consider discuss these matters with the TCWG and management. They should then exercise professional judgment, first discuss, then apply professional judgment to determine whether to disclose matter immediately. Appropriate authority to prevent or mitigate consequences. So if there is a very big breach, first discuss and then think about it. Make a professional judgment. Should I go and inform it to authority so that we can prevent, we can control the consequences unless it is prohibited by law. If it is prohibited by law, then we won't do it unless it is prohibited by law. And if there's a confusion, we have to take legal advices. Such disclosure, that means a kind of disclosure is permitted. You yourself decide whether to go and disclose. But such provision is not present in SA 250. SA 250 doesn't encourage to go and disclose. SA 250 doesn't encourage to go and disclose. But NOCLAR says that in this specific situation, unless it is prohibited by law, you go and disclose. So definitely there's a difference in these things. So when it comes to assignments, both are different. NOCLAR is broader. Law applicability, again NOCLAR is broader. Stakeholders, impact analysis, NOCLAR is broader. And disclosures, again NOCLAR is broader. Okay. So I got so it's very famous shortcut ASL, age, sex, location. Okay, when you talk to someone, maybe so some of you must be Omegle stars out here. Omegle. So recently students told me that there is some site called Omegle. Please don't get into these things. You should not. And you chat to random people, you have a video chat. Oh, come on, you don't have time to study, you don't have time to sleep, and you are supposed to, you will be doing chatting. No sir, sometimes. Okay. So ASLD, age, sex, location, date. So these are the point of differences. They are the point of differences in approach of NOCLAR and approach of SA 250. These are very interesting, and These things are become bigger as we go ahead in the profession. This has been recently introduced. These things have been recently introduced in the curriculum. They are going to gain more and more importance. Now, responding to NOCLAR. Responding to NOCLAR. If, as I said, if a chartered accountant is in service, employment, responsibilities of senior professional accountant are different. They are bigger as compared to other chartered accountants. So it is divided into two parts. Finally, the most important thing is we have been discussing, okay, what is non-compliance, what kind of laws are there, which non-compliance will get covered, which non-compliance will not get covered, how it is different from 250, how the approach is different, and so on. Lot of things. Okay. Now, what are we supposed to do? So if we come across non-compliance, what are we supposed to do? What should we do in this situation? The core thing, the most important thing, the core thing, most important thing, that is missing. Okay. Now, let's see, guys. So, again, an overview is given. Not a very detailed approach is given, an overview. And important from exam point of view, it has been asked once. So, it's important. So, and then we have NOCLAR principles for chartered accountants who are doing audit. So, these are steps. So, I can say that it is a kind of an overview. These are steps kind of overview. In fact, I have included more stuff than module. So that at least you should have something to write. Okay. So what NOCLAR says finally, if you come across non-compliance, you should obtain understanding. So suppose you come across a non-compliance where there is you come across non-compliance where lot of related party transactions are done. And prices are not market prices at terms and conditions which are not at arm's length. They're not market prices, they're not fair prices, without approval of shareholders and board of directors and audit committee. So without approval of audit committees or board of directors or shareholders, without their approval, such big transactions are done. So it's a non-compliance. So you come across it. What are we supposed to do? Understand the nature. Understand exactly what kind of transaction took place. It was sale purchase of land which took place. Okay. With whom it took place? So and so parties. Okay. So they are covered in definition of related party. Fine. Further understand what was the amount, what was the price of these land parcels, and at what prices transaction took place. Then understand consequences as per law. And understand what will be consequences. What will be consequences as per law. Very important to understand this. What will be consequences as per law? Okay. Whether these transaction will be void ab initio, whether it will become a personal liability of the directors who have done this, or officer employees who have done this, whether there will be a legal case of fraud because of this, how much loss company is going to face because of this. So understand the matter. Then you need to address the matter. How to address the matter? Go and discuss with immediate superior, communicate TCWG. Go and talk to your superior. Oh, I have come across so and so thing. Go and talk to management or TCWG. Oh, so and so thing has happened. Go and share facts with them, discuss with them. So and so thing has happened. How are you going to rectify it? How are you going to comply it? Go and discuss with them. Determine whether further action is needed. Am I supposed to go one step ahead? Am I supposed to go to parent company, management of parent company? Am I supposed to go and inform these guys? Am I supposed to resign? If you're not sure, seek advice, take legal consultancy. It can be some lawyers in the firm, it can be external law firms. You can talk to CA Institute also, their ethical standard board, what to do in this scenario. Think about it. Are you supposed to go to any appropriate authority? We have just discussed, if it's an imminent breach, very big breach of law, lot of big consequences, and as per professional judgment, if you want to stop the harm effect, mitigate the effect, we are supposed to inform authority. Think about it, is it an imminent breach, big impact? And then finally, document. So what are we supposed to do in NOCLAR? We are supposed to do these things in NOCLAR. Okay? We are supposed to do these things in NOCLAR. We are supposed to see, it's in logical sequence. You don't need a mnemonic for this. We are supposed to understand what has went wrong. What are the consequences? We need to address the issue by going and we need to address the issue we need to go and discuss with people that so and so thing has happened. We may need to think, so basically we are informing people. Further action, whether going to the parent companies and resigning, we need to think about it, whether to go to appropriate authority. Finally, we need to make a conclusion. Is it an imminent breach? Because responsibilities increase if it is an imminent breach. And lastly, we're supposed to document everything. See, it's a logical sequence. You don't need a mnemonic out here. Okay. So guys, that was beautiful and lovely NOCLAR. And this is going to be a very important thing as you go ahead. It is regarding misconduct. We are going to see it later in the sense, as we go ahead in the chapter, we are going to come across concept of misconduct, concept of professional misconduct, other misconduct. We are going to automatically it will get covered. In fact, in much detail it will get covered. So we are going to see it later. Documentation requirement. So it's very simple. We are supposed to document what kind of NOCLAR, clear understanding what kind of non-compliances were there, what kind of consequences were there. As per professional judgment, document those things. Then how you addressed this, what kind of discussions you had with the seniors, superiors, further action, what kind of response management, whether they tried to rectify the situation, whether they tried to comply with the situation. Go and understand that. Then what he did, what as a chartered accountant he did, what things he did, whether he went and reported it to someone, whether what kind of whether he took legal advice, whether he reported to someone, what he did, steps taken by him, how he protected public interest, whether public at large were at risk, and how he saved public at large. Now these requirements are apart from standards and auditing. So we have one SA 250 which says that if you come across non-compliance, you are supposed to follow these steps and you are supposed to document it. So we have to follow, if you are doing audit, we have to follow SA 250 for sure. This is apart from that. Okay, guys, so it's very simple. We are supposed to document our understanding, clear understanding of important issues that arose during the audit, including conclusion reached and professional judgment made in reaching those conclusions. So, clear understanding of important issues that arose during the audit, including conclusion reached and professional judgment made in reaching those conclusions. Clear understanding. Then after understanding, then you go for the next. That is discussions. First understand things, then what kind of discussions were done, what kind of management response, account response. This again is a very simple flow, and this is apart over and above what is required as per standards on auditing. Standards on auditing says that all the non-compliances, its impact should be documented. It's very simple, guys. Okay, guys. So finally, we are through. We are through with what? We are through with the code of ethics, the theoretical portion of code of ethics. See, in last 3 lectures, we were not able to have complete quota of our class timings. We are not able to have for some reason or the other. But then, fortunately, from today onwards, we are having the full quota of our class. Okay, so we are going to cover more things. Now, see, guys, audit is a huge course. Lot of points, a lot of discussions, a lot of approaches, a lot of controversies, and so course is huge, and we need a lot of time to cover this particular course. Let me see. I think 100 hours, around that we will need to cover this particular course. But then point is, we are supposed to make good use of whatever time we are having. We should not compromise with that time in any manner. Okay. In between, I try to give you some dose of other matters also, because I know that it is concepts raining everywhere. You need little bit of time to breathe, relax, express. That's fine, guys. Okay. So in between, you can do that. That's absolutely fine. But then, see, audit is a lovely subject. Sir, don't. See, different. I love audit. I teach audit. Come on. I understand it's theory. It's a lot of theory. But don't worry, we have designed a beautiful and foolproof approach. Foolproof approach. If you follow that approach, you will feel extremely fine, extremely comfortable. Okay. And it's very systematic and step by step. And the way we are studying, my objective is to make you ready for any kind of case study. These concepts should have deep impact on your understanding. A thorough conceptual understanding should be there of the matters. Why there are matters, what are the matters, and so on. Now, guys, let's see membership of the institute. So as soon as you clear your CA exams, you complete your articleship, you complete your articleship, you complete your CA exams, and more conditions and trainings which are given, you have to apply. You don't automatically become. You become eligible to become member of ICAI. You have to fill up form number 2 and submit it that please admit me as a member of the CA Institute, and then you get membership certificate, and then you get registered as a member. So first thing is you have to make application to council. It is form number 2. You have to make application. No need to remember the C category, but these are some basics you should be aware about. If someone was not aware about it, if proper application is there, application name is entered in the register of member, he becomes officially member of the institute. He gets a membership number. He gets beautiful, wonderful membership number, a number which is going to stay with the chartered accountant for lifelong, and he will be given a certificate of membership issued the applicant. Register will have all the basic details. So name of the person, and name of the chartered accountant, whether he's having certificate of practice, name of the chartered accountant, then he's a associate. We'll discuss about the associate chartered accountant or fellow. So those chartered accountant who have more than 5 years, who have 5 years or more experience, they can apply and become FCA, senior chartered accountant. That means fellow chartered accountant. So name of the person, whether he's an associate chartered accountant, whether he's a fellow chartered accountant, whether he's having a certificate of practice or not. You directly cannot go for practice. You need to again apply for certificate of practice. So you get certificate of practice, and then you can do the practice thing. COP, then the contact address, all these details are there in the register. So basic details. Additional information apart from this can be there if required by the council. It's very simple. Now, disabilities for the purpose of membership. So you can call it disqualifications.
I'm not sure I understand.
So we have section 8. Disqualifications. Some of you must be feeling relief. Oh yes, I used to love disqualifications. I used to love disqualifications in audit. I am missing company audit. That used to be so interesting. That used to be so interesting. I am missing that time. I am missing that time. I want disqualification. Finally, I am having these disqualifications. So you can call it that disqualifications of memberships, disabilities. So who cannot become member of the CA Institute? Who cannot become member of the CA Institute? Okay. Let's see. It's again logical sequence. So first thing is okay guys, one more thing before I start here. See, we will be shifting from YouTube to our app now. We'll be shifting to our app. So all of you are, you'll be most probably today you will be getting calls or messages from our team regarding installation of app, either in your mobile phone or in your laptop. You can play one device at a time, either mobile or laptop, you can play that. So we'll be shifting to the app and you will be informed about it. So I will say that wait till evening, and if you face any problem, you have to contact our admin. Please be polite with them. Okay, They're also human beings. Don't vent out your frustration on them. I understand you guys are in a lot of pressure. 9322011915. It's a Audit Guru admin, and you can talk to them from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on working days. They also need break. Okay, they also need break. They are not robots, so you can talk to them and they will help you with installation or whatever problem you are facing. Give them time, guys. Some patience. The students, they are worried a lot. They are worried a lot till they don't get access. They are dying. They are behaving like a fish without water. Sir lectures, sir notes, sir books. And the moment they get everything, for next 1 week, they are not watching a single lecture. They are not reading a single line from the book. What nonsense. Okay, I'm saying you should study, but then sometimes we have our different emergencies altogether. Please don't do that. Okay. So we have come across such cases. Now, let's see disqualifications and disabilities. So if a person has not attained the age of 21, he is disqualified. If he has not attained the age of 21, he is disqualified. No one can become chartered accountant till the time he attains the age of 21. So if someone says technically that I became chartered accountant at the age of 19, not possible as per law. As per section 8 of CA Act, as per section 8 of CA Act, see, only some of the sections are important. Don't go and cram the complete CA Act, and very rarely they never focus on section numbers here. But then definitely you should remember this section 8. So section 8, if the person has not attained the age of 21, he is disqualified. Now the person is grown up, fine, but then he is adjudged by competent court as unsound mind. Unsound mind. So instead of mental capacity, a better word is unsound mind. You can make the changes. Unsound mind. So if the person has not attained the age, disqualified. He has attained the age, but he is a person of unsound mind, disqualified. Or else he is a person with lot of evil mind, insolvent. Now let's understand something about insolvency. Come here, for knowledge I have written. That's important knowledge. If any person's liability is more than assets, then that person is called as insolvent. that that person is called as insolvent. If that is insolvent. Now, if any person's liability is more than assets, suppose there's a person whose liabilities are 50 crores and value of the assets available with him is only 30 crores, then that person will be considered as insolvent. Now, and a lot of disputes will happen now. So there will be 20, 100 people who want 50 crores and their assets. There will be a lot of chaos. There will be a lot of chaos, a lot of problems, a lot of disputes. So that insolvent person can go to court and says that, yes, sir, it has happened that I am insolvent. These are the documents. These are the documents, and please declare me insolvent. I am insolvent. Please declare me insolvent, and please take charge of the assets. Please appoint someone, and as per your guidance, that someone will sell off the assets, get the money, and pay off the liabilities. Please discharge me. Take my assets, sell it, and pay off my liabilities. And tell the world, now I don't have anything to give. Please discharge me. So first person becomes insolvent. Then he goes to court and makes a request. Then he is discharged. Now, during the proceedings, if person proves that this insolvency has happened not because of his mistake, not because of my mistake, but because of misfortune. My fortune was not all fine. Misfortune. I went for a factory, an earthquake took place, everything was destroyed before I can take insurance policy. My misfortune. I made restaurants and COVID stuck, and we were hit by COVID. My misfortune. So court will give a certificate. Yes, he is a discharged insolvent, and insolvency is not because of his wrong deeds, it is because of his misfortune. So that he can show this certificate to people and prove his innocence and start his new life. So first happens insolvency, then go to court and go for discharge, and then you may or may not get misfortune certificate. So that is explained here. That is explained here. Not able to pay his liabilities, person can go to prove his liabilities. Court will declare him insolvent. Further can request court to take control of the assets and sell them and pay creditors and discharge him. So you can go to the court and please declare me insolvent and tell to people that there are serious issues with my financial things. And if the assets are sold off, liabilities are paid, it's called discharge insolvent. May give him certificate. He may get a certificate of misfortune. So three things. First he is declared insolvent, then he is discharged insolvent. First he is declared insolvent, then he is discharged insolvent, and then he gets misfortune certificate. Now what they say that if a person if a person is in, if a person till the time, see, if he is declared insolvent, declared insolvent, he will get disqualified. He cannot become member, and if he is a member, he will be removed from the register of member. Yes, a moment chartered accountant, becomes the moment chartered account is declared as insolvent, he is disqualified. If the discharge processing proceedings case is going on, he is disqualified. He is disqualified. If he gets discharged with misfortune certificate, so till the time chartered accountant is insolvent, undischarged insolvent, he is disqualified. Moment he gets discharged along with misfortune certificate, he will be qualified. So he will lose his membership, and once he get that discharge certificate, he get discharged with misfortune certificate, he can re-enroll himself as a member. Undischarged insolvents or discharged insolvents without court certificate stating their insolvency was due to misfortune without misconduct cannot be registered. So those who are in court right now undischarged, they are disqualified. Those who are discharged without having that certificate, again they are disqualified. Then, if chartered accountants are convicted for criminal convictions, for criminal things, moral turpitude, they have done something which is against moral principles of the society. We are not talking about non-technical, we are not about technical offense. So you are not filed returns on time, signature was not proper, stamp was not proper. No. We are talking about serious criminal activities like selling drugs, doing terrorist activity, murder, killing someone, moral turpitude or non-technical big offense in their professional capacity unless pardoned or disability removed by central government. Okay, so if a chartered accountant is convicted for crime involving moral turpitude, as I said, killing someone or selling drugs, terrorism, anti-national things, if you're doing these things, then that person will be disqualified. But if he is pardoned, so victim pardons him. Victim says, okay, whatever has happened. He has suffered enough. He has suffered enough. He has done good things, and we are legally pardoning him for all his crimes. If people pardon him, he is saved. Again, he will be qualified. Or central government says that whatever he did for nation. Whatever he did it for nation, and we are removing his disability. And making him eligible to become member, he can become. So if someone has done criminal activity and if someone is convicted for criminal activity, they will be disqualified. There are two ways they can come back. Either they get pardoned or central government removes their disability. Either of the two things will be required to come back. Professional misconduct. we are going to study. If you don't follow requirement of CA Act, if you don't follow requirement of CA Act, then that's called broadly, that's called professional misconduct. And in punishment, and you may get a punishment where your name is removed from the register of members for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, or permanently. So again, you will be disqualified to be a member during that tenure. Let's understand this. 4 things, 5 things. So if the person has not attained the age of 20, if the person has not attained the age of 21, person will be disqualified. If he has attained the age but mentally not stable, disqualified. Extraordinary intelligent, insolvent, disqualified. Undischarged insolvent, disqualified. Discharge without misfortune certificate, disqualified. Criminal conviction, disqualified. Professional misconduct, remove the name from register, disqualified. Now many of you must be thinking, sir, you spoke about these things, absolutely fine. But can we get the membership back? Of course. So you cannot become member if you are facing these problems. Okay. You can have a shortcut. Professional accountant in ICU. Professional accountant in ICU. Okay. P stand for professional misconduct. You have done something against the CA Act and you are punished with removal of membership. You are disqualified. If you are not age limit, age is not, you are not 21 years of age, disqualified. Insolvent, disqualified. Criminal conviction, disqualified. Unsound mind, disqualified. So if a professional accountant is in ICU, disqualified. Can you get your membership back? Of course, we'll study about that. Now, types of members, it's very simple. It's very simple. So we have section 5. Moment you will become a day you apply for membership and institute gives you membership, grants you membership, you will be called, your name will be written in members register as associate chartered accountant. That golden day, just think about it. Just think about it. Just visualize it. Feel it. Your dream is coming true. You thought about this day. You thought about this day for past 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. You have been waiting for this day. You have worked really hard for it. You have trained really hard for it. Okay. That day, you have to visualize this thing. I sincerely and seriously believe that, so start of the day, I will visualize how my day is going to be. So I am going to love doing this. I'm going to love doing this. So and so things. It's going to be fun. So I visualize my whole day, and then our subconscious mind is so strong, it automatically brings out what we want. Okay, so you should visualize, and everything will help you to achieve that. Visualize that. So visualize today about the day. Visualize today about the day you are dreaming of. Okay. Now, Section 5 says that moment you become chartered accountant, your name will be written your name will be written in members register as associate chartered accountant. Associate chartered accountant. Registered member becomes associate, denoted by letters ACA after their name. So they can write ACA, A.C.A, ACA after their name. So denote that they are, if they want, it's not mandatory. Fellow. Now it's very interesting. So moment you become fellow chartered accountant means senior chartered accountant. Moment you become a fellow chartered accountant, you will be getting more points and more work from authorities. And in fact, there are companies and there are assignments where they demand that a senior chartered accountant should do it. So fellow chartered accountant should do it. Okay. Now let's see. Fellow. Members can become fellow chartered accountant, denoted by FCA, by meeting certain criteria. They have to meet certain criteria, then they have to apply with the prescribed fees, then you become fellow chartered accountant. Okay, so it's interesting. You cannot become a fellow chartered accountant automatically. You have to apply for it with the fees, and then only you become a fellow chartered accountant. Okay. Now, then only you become fellow chartered accountant. So who can become fellow chartered accountant? If you are a associate chartered accountant with continuous practice in India for 5 years. So if you are an associate and you are continuous practice in India for 5 years. So once you become a chartered accountant, take a COP, practice in India for 5 years, you become eligible for FCA, apply for it and get it. But if you are in practice outside India, foreign practice, that will not be counted to get status of FCA. That will not be counted. So you need to be practicing chartered accountant. You need to do practice in India as per Indian laws, Indian system. Then you will become eligible to become FCA. Then next is, suppose you are an associate member for at least 5 years. Suppose you are a associate member for at least 5 years. Associate member for at least, you are simply a chartered account for 5 years. You are not continuously practicing in India. Then in that case, if you prove that you have knowledge and experience, you prove that you have knowledge and experience just like a person who is in practice. So you need to prove that you have a knowledge and experience just like a person who is in practice. So for this, institute has clarified that they need to fulfill certain conditions plus qualification. Here it means conditions as prescribed by council, and generally the condition is you should be doing job. You should be doing job in accountancy, taxation, law, consultancy. If you're doing this CA related work for 5 years, it proves that you have knowledge and experience similar to a chartered accountant, who is in practice. Okay, so let's freeze. You can become a fellow chartered accountant in two ways. Number one, if you are an associate chartered accountant and you are practicing continuously for 5 years in India, you can apply for FCA. If you are an associate chartered accountant but you are not practicing in India for 5 years, you are just an associate chartered accountant. Okay, then in such case, you need to prove institute that you have similar kind of knowledge and experience. And so basically the second one is for those who are in job. The second point is for those who are in job. So you may get a question exam, can chartered accountants in job also apply for FCA? Yes. If they are associate chartered accountant for continuously 5 years plus if they are able to prove that their job qualification, they got the experience and knowledge similar to experience knowledge that a person with 5 years of experience, 5 years of practice has, he can definitely apply for FCA. So a person in practice can also apply for FCA, and person in job also can apply for FCA. That's interesting, guys. Both can apply for FCA. And they can put letters after name. Both associate and fellows are entitled to use specific letters after their names to indicate their membership status. So they can write ACA, or they can write FCA. Okay guys, we'll stop here. I will give you audio of yesterday also and today also. Keep listening to them. Listen to them again and again. Listen 2 to 3 audios on daily basis. Even if you know everything, do listen to them. Moment you listen to them again and again, you will feel comfortable, you will do better. Bye everyone, and tomorrow we will be having